Hello Dota 2 fans and welcome back for Game 2 of this Best of 3 series. This is the GG League Season 2. I am Maurice Peace, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. This is the round of 16. We have Balkan Bears Corleone versus Moscow 5. This is the international squad, of course. Headlined by Screen, PGG, Necroman, and the like. They ended up falling in Game 1 to a Padrino Broodmother pick. Once again, we will see the respect ban of Meepo taken away from Weeha here by M5. They're gonna mirror their bans from Game 1 exactly with the Meepo and the Death Prophet. And actually, Balkan Bears Corleone gonna do the same. They banned out the Brewmaster and the Viper away. To give Weeha that Templar Assassin early on and have a good time in that mid lane. And they'll pick up the first pick tied. So they did have that on Hockey last game. We'll see if he takes that into the off lane once again. Very strong pickup for them. Didn't exactly do too much. Hit one nice Ravage by the secret shop. But just the looming threat of that Ravage got up a real early blink in that dual off lane up against first ZXC and then Bignum's Puck. ZXC being on the Alchemist. And so Balkan Bears, they roll in Game 1. BBC looking very strong here. We are and the boys. And I wouldn't say any standout players, but they all played very well. Of course, Padrino, just a beast on that Broodmother, and actually had to reset his PC after Game 1. Moscow 5 very eager to get back into the game. But Padrino turning the knife a bit, having to restart that PC, letting that set, a little bit of salt on the wound. Always tough when you lose to a Broodmother pick. So very well played by him, knowing his boundaries and his limits, and finding quite a few kills on the Alchemist in the bot lane. So I feel like that was the anchor to Moscow 5's draft there. Alchemist pretty much died everywhere he went on the map, unfortunately. And Centaur Shadow Shaman, first two pickups from M5 here. Centaur always a very strong hero in terms of initiation, in terms of tankability, in terms of the magic damage that he offers with the double edge. And Shadow Shaman, a hero we've seen fall off a bit. He's not the strongest in lane. He of course was very popular in the Death Ball meta with those mass serpent wards, as well as the shackle and the hex that he's able to offer, but not the highest base movement speed. The range isn't the best. His harassability isn't the best, aside from Ether Shock, but for obvious reasons offers quite a bit. And we'll actually see M5 ban a Broodmother here. So BBC starting off their draft very similarly to in Game 1. They go for the Disruptor once again, and that cues the Broodmother ban from M5. We'll see the Tusk ban from BBC. So interesting ban from them. They actually punished this Tusk very well last game, but perhaps it puts a little bit more of a thorn into their side in this game too, and they choose or elect to remove it from the pool, along with the Slark, which they did ban in Game 1 as well. So they really don't want to deal with presumably what would be ZXC Slark here, or perhaps Necro in the mid lane. But Razor ban comes out once again from Moscow 5, so very similar looking ban list for both teams from Game 1. The picks are different from M5, pretty much exactly the same from BBC thus far. And hey, why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we'll see Padrino, Weeha, and the crew are able to take this 2-0 this morning. We have a few other games for you up today, guys, in the JDL. If I just check my schedule here, yeah, in the Europe Division 2, we have actually BBC playing once again here, so we will see them up against, I believe, Syndicate. I gotta check, recheck that, but Lycan actually picked up here for M5, so Lycan does slip through the ban phase. It will be a Radiant Lycan, so not quite as strong as the Dire for obvious reasons, but still a very strong hero in his own right. Not as worried about the glimpse, unless it's timed very well with the kinetic field, because that 650 move speed in shapeshifted form is pretty damn good. And but BBC will pick up another pretty damn good hero in this Ogre Magi. Not sure that this will allow them to go into a tri-lane here, albeit they did run dual lanes last game. Disruptor Ogre is a decently strong combo, with the Fire Blast guaranteeing pretty much a kinetic field latching every time. If they can pick up a range carry, like a Luna, for example, with that extra Lucent Beam. That would be a pretty strong tri-lane that I wouldn't be too angry at them for running aggressive. But we'll see what they choose to do with that. Ogre Magi, for obvious reasons, very relevant throughout the game. If he's able to get up that Aghanim Scepter, ding, 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 does a lot of work. And, of course, Bloodlust is always a very high priority spell for your carry one position. So Morphling's actually going to be the pickup here, presumably for ZXC, for M5, actually presumably for Necroman in the mid for M5. Not sure if Necroman's a little more comfortable with the Lycan. You certainly can run a Lycan mid with the new changes to the rune. Will keep your bottle up. You can last hit with the wolves. And Lycan has a pretty damn good time mid. There is no mid hero here yet, presumably for BBC. And it looks like we will have a core Ogre Magi, unless we have a core Earthshaker Jimmy Ho style for BBC. So very interesting draft so far. You would expect the one position to be the last pick there, so it's a little bit one-dimensional in that sense. Unless we have a safe lane Ogre run like Fear does for EG here, which is very possible, of course. Putting someone else in the mid lane, the Tidehunter in the off lane. With that Ogre Magi safe lane try. Ogre Disruptor Earthshaker, very strong early on in terms of roam potential and kill potential. So interesting pickup here from BBC. Both games pretty unorthodox drafts. And the first game with the Broodmother, now they're going to have either a core Earthshaker or Ogre. I highly doubt we'll see a core Disruptor. But they do ban out the Jakiro here. So removing that away. They do have the Kraken Shell to deal with it, but I guess just don't want to deal with the push. That is certainly one thing their lineup does lack, is push. They do have the Bloodlust for whoever this last hero may be to buff up that attack speed, but don't have much push throughout the rest of their lineup. For obvious reasons, Moscow 5 does have push with the Mass Serpent Wards as well as the Wolves and Howl, and therefore they remove the Jakiro, which would have been a nice fit for M5's lineup. So I like that ban there. Medusa is the ban from BBC, so they're banning necessarily the late game insurance policy here for Padrino. They do have a lot of space creators in the Ogre, the Disruptor, the Earthshaker, and the Tidehunter, so they don't want them to be able to create space and take this to a late game with a Medusa, albeit they do have a Lycan and a Morphling. We can definitely go well up against the Medusa, but nevertheless a smart ban from M5, and they'll actually round out their lineup with the Treant Protector here, so helps a little bit with the split push, keeps their towers up. We saw all their outer tier towers go down before they even were able to pick up a single tower here for the side of M5 last game, so they don't want that to occur once again. We will see the Treant Protector picked up here for M5, so that works pretty well with the Lycan as well as with the Centaur. The one thing I worry about for M5's lineup is they don't really have anyone for the Centaur to roam with, and so that's a little worrisome, but they certainly were going in the right direction with that Medusa ban. The late game insurance policy was picked up for BBC. Padrino will pick up his Spectre here, and so very interesting pickup there, and will round out their lineup nicely. But the Rat potential is still certainly here for M5, so should be a very interesting one for us, guys. Thanks again for joining me. I'm Maurice Pease, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. This is HeflaTV and GG League Season 2, round of 16. So winner of this best of 3 goes on to the quarterfinals to face a team that has not yet been decided, will be decided tomorrow, actually. We will have a pause, as is customary here, guys. Just gonna take down this HUD, make these things a little bit more pleasing to the eye for y'all. But we will have a pause early on, so hopefully we can get these fixed. Both teams dealing with the same servers here. Luxembourg servers are usually pretty good. They're not quite perfect world servers, which are anything but perfect. So it looks like we're waiting for one of the Moscow 5 members to come in, and it seems to be PGG at this point. So we'll wait on him. Perhaps he's just AFK or dealing with some issues. We'll have a little drawing on the minimap. But it does look like Solitude picks up this Ogre, and so that would leave Weehaw on the core Earthshaker. Very interesting to see him play this. in the mid lane, presumably, with the Spectre, Disruptor, Solitude safe lane try, and Hockey in the off lane once again on that Tidehunter. So going to be interesting to see a core Earthshaker here. We'll see if he goes for a Shadow Blade over the Blink, and perhaps a Crystallis for some of that right click. I worry for their ability to kill the Morphling and the Centaur, but they certainly have the wherewithal to kill a Lycan before he's able to get away with the Kinetic Field, as well as the Earthshaker's toolkit, and definitely one Enchant Totem strike out of the Shadow Blade should be enough to kill this Shadow Shaman if you couple it with a Fissure. So as you can see, guys, game 1 taken by BBC. This is game 2 of a potential best of 3 if Moscow 5 is able to extend it to the 3rd game. So we'll see if they're able to pick up their heels after what was definitely a demoralizing loss to a Broodmother pick for Padrino in game 1. Hopefully we can get these issues sorted out. I don't believe there's anything, nothing being said in the lobby at this point, so I think we're just waiting on PGG to get in the game. We do have the admins and everyone else in. So thanks again for joining me, guys. While you're at it, follow the stream. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at facebook.com/HeflaTV, and the same on Twitter. And check out the YouTubes of the VODs of all these games over at youtube.com/HeflaMoke. That's youtube.com/HeflaMoke, the old original channel there, with quite a few exciting Dota games for you guys to check out there. And follow myself over at MRP_Dota on Twitter. Same thing on Twitch. Appreciate the support, guys. Trying to give you the best cast. Please flame me in chat as much as you'd like, and let me know what I can do better. Weehaw definitely not playing support. I don't believe he will be, unless Solitude is just more comfortable on this Ogre Magi, but I doubt that. So let's introduce the teams. We're getting out of the pause here. We've got Balkan Bears Corleone on the Dire side. We've got Hockey picking up the 3-position Tidehunter. It looks like a core Earthshaker for Weehaw in the mid on the 2-position. Solitude picking up that Ogre Magi in the 4. Levi once again on his 5-position Disruptor, as he was in game 1, and Padrino on the 1-position Spectre, looking pretty fly for a white guy right there. So we will see the side of Moscow 5 on the Radiant. Bignum going to take up the off lane with the Centaur War Runner. We'll see probably Necroman go towards the mid. Actually, he's picked up Hatchet and Tangos, so perhaps he does go towards the safe lane here, and ZXC into the mid. Yep, he's built a Wraith Band, so it should be ZXC in the mid on the Morphling. Screen will go towards the safe lane on his Shadow Shaman in the 4 position. And the 5 Triad Protector will be picked up by PGG. Moscow 5 versus BBC, guys. I'm Maurice, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. This is game 2, GG League Season 2, round of 16, best of 3 here. So Padrino looking pretty pimp, going towards the top lane. We have an early ward dropped here for some nice information and vision for Hockey in the off lane, and he should do just fine with that. There's no sentries here on PGG. Do we have some on screen? We don't. So actually no sentries early on for the side of Moscow 5. And looks like Necroman actually will take up the mid. He's been pooled a couple of tangos, so he's got 6 tangos, so should be okay. Up against the Earthshaker. It is a melee on melee matchup, so I think that's a good decision by Moscow 5 to give their Lycan the solo mid with a little bit more farm. It looks like they built the ZXC 2-go mid, but probably decided better of it, knowing that they'll be up against a core Earthshaker here, and so they'll find some farm for this safe lane Morphling. They do have a little bit more kill potential with the early points in waveform than they would perhaps with Necroman, but the Wolves with the Howl plus that Shackle and Hex do actually quite a bit of work, so it's arguable for both heroes. Interesting starting build, Stout Shield Hatchet for Necroman here. We'll see how he fares in this mid matchup. Both players with a very nice block here. A Necroman slightly edging out Weehaw. We do see a wraparound from Solitude here. He's got an Invis rune. Not sure that they have the kill potential, though. I don't believe they do. But they do see that there's a level 1 Howl here from Necroman. So He's just going to use that to last hit their very cheap spell early on. And we will see Hockey actually posture up pretty aggressively in the off lane here. There isn't too much lockdown. There's the Leech Seed, of course, for the slow and screens toolkit, but he's back pulling. So good game sense by Hockey to know when he's able to find some farm here. And it looks like Lycan doing very well in the mid. 4-1 already up against the 2-0 of Weeha's Earthshaker. Hockey actually going to go to contest the pull, but going to be harassed out by this Leech Seed and a few right clicks from PGG. He's actually going to take a lot of punishment here. The early 85 base damage on this Treant Protector is out of this world, and PGG abusing that advantage with a Boots First build. So very intelligent build from him. Bignum already taking quite a bit of harass in this top lane. He's got 2 sets of tangos starting with. He's already used up 3 of them. And the Ignite from Solitude coming out early and often up against him, it seems. We won't see any points in Aftershock quite yet for Weeha. And 8-3 is the score for the Lycan up against the Earthshaker here, who is currently sitting at 6-0. So not bad either. But Necro going to have a damn good time in the mid lane. Should have an early bottle. He's already got 700 gold. And we will see him pick it up now and deliver it over to himself. So he is actually taking a second to use the courier there, and actually we will see perhaps what was a denied rune by that wolf. So no, PGG actually picked that up bottom, but the bounty rune was denied here by the wolf. So nice play, little cheeky play there by Necroman, having the rune control there. So microing his wolves, this is why the bottle came out just a second later there. Bignum going to take a little bit of harass, but there is finally a Fire Blast now. Do they have the Kinetic Field? Actually, Levi hasn't even used his skill points yet. Nothing in stats, just the 2 GG branches there. So they are looking to only use the spells. Very nice Enchant Totem Strike coming out here from Weeha. He's doing quite a bit of damage, 1-2-1 build. Which is pretty indicative of the core Earthshaker maxing out the Enchant Totem and the levels in Aftershock with just the 1 level in Fissure for the lockdown or disable for that moment. Hockey doing pretty well. He finally found his level 2 here, so not doing quite as well as the Centaur, being zoned out pretty heavily, and certainly a problem when you have Disruptor, who's not the best zoning hero, and without a Boots advantage, Ogre isn't either, but he does have Boots here, and probably can pick up an Orb of Venom pretty soon and harass out the Centaur. But with a level in return, he's going to take quite a bit of damage back to him as well. And with that living armor from the Treant, they're able to keep up their offlane Centaur pretty healthy at most points. You do see PGG now at level 2. He's actually going to pull up the wave a bit, trying not to pull it underneath his tower. Only 1 base armor, so he's taking quite a bit of damage from this, but he does have the living armor to heal himself up. He does not have any regen at this point. Screen does pull him a tango here, and they will actually smoke the 2 supports here, and perhaps they will go with Necroman mid. He does find a haste rune, so this is definitely kill potential here from the side of Moscow 5. 1 level in Shackle, 2 levels in Ether Shock, 1 level in Leech Seed up for this Shadow Shaman Treant Protector combo. And I think Weeha should be okay here underneath his tower, and they're actually going to wrap on Hockey. So I think that's the more intelligent decision from M5. Only a level 2 Tide Hunter here, so level 1 Kraken Shell available for him. And Weeha actually noticing the supports are out of lane, does back up. Living Armor onto PGG underneath the tower. He's going to get a Leech Seed, but it latches pretty late, and Hockey well positioned there. He's going to survive just fine. He does have this wave coming underneath his tower now, and should be fine to soak up some of this experience. Ether Shock going to go into the wave. He's actually not going to get much of it, and Hockey going to be starved out of the lane pretty well, but the wave does finally rotate back, and he will find a little bit of experience from this. ZXC doing well, 27 last hits, but Padrino doing equally well with 28. And they've actually rotated this 2 supports bottom for Moscow 5. Levi with a smoke here. He does level 1-1-1 now. The kinetic field's going to latch on both PGG and Screen. They should find this Treant Protector with 1 more right click. They do. And meanwhile, Hockey going to go down to a Waveform Ether Shock combo. And 1 for 1 in the bot lane. The core going down for BBC. So better trade for Moscow 5 there, and they actually do benefit from experience but barely lose out in gold. However, it certainly is a big hindrance to their lineup to have almost 6 minutes in, just a boots and 400 gold on their Tide Hunter. Their Disruptor actually has more at this point and is surpassing him as well as PGG on net worth. So not doing bad in the mid is Weehaw, 25-5 up against the 32-6 of the Lycan. You certainly expect the Lycan to win that matchup, but Weehaw holding his own in the mid lane. Bottle and 1,000 gold here. Necroman gonna flank him here. He's got PGG and screen rotating in. He uses the enchant tome a little early. He does have an Echo Slam here, however, and should be just fine to survive. We'll see a wrap around here from the high ground from screen, but he's gonna get found out here by Solitude. And actually, Solitude walking up the high ground just in time here. He will hit an Ignite. Few right clicks. Fire Blast is there to follow. Haunt actually comes out from Padrino, so they'll give him this kill. And definitely a worthy rotation from that Spectre. Although he doesn't find solo experience. Experience going to be split 3 ways between the Disruptor and the Ogre and the Spectre. But nice little kill there. They do know that there probably was a ward placed here, and why else would screen be there? And we will see Padrino rotate back towards the top lane. Bignum finding some decent farm, 300 gold as well as his Tranquils here. He's got 12 CS to the 10 of Hockey. So not great in terms of CS, but we will see Hockey get caught out here. And what I was going to mention is the experience. They're actually both level 5 at this point, but Hockey going to go down to the Ether Shock actually of screen. If he waits just another second, Necroman actually picks up that kill on the Lycan. So a little bit questionable, I think, but not wanting to walk uphill, I guess, was Moscow 5, and they do give the kill over to that Shadow Shaman, who definitely does benefit from farm as well, but doesn't have really any to speak of at this point, excuse me, and won't be able to translate that kill into any immediate item progression. Midas actually going to come out here for ZXC on the Morphling. Interesting pickup for him. 7.5 minutes in. Not the greatest Midas timing for him, but certainly does benefit from the levels. We'll be able to get that Adaptive Strike up fairly soon, and a few levels into the Replicate. Interesting build actually going for a 303 here. We'll see if he looks to pick up the ultimate. No Replicate yet. Gonna go for 4 points into that waveform. It's a very effective spell early on. 325 damage. A pretty big ranged nuke from the Morphling there. So not too worried about that build for him. He is still very survivable without the Replicate away ability there. Any item progression for Weehaw? He's looking to build into this Blink Dagger, presumably with 2,000 gold up on him, and he should have that pretty soon. Tranquils do finally come out here for Solitude, so he's doing fairly well. He did pick up that Orb of Venom, as I mentioned, for the little bit of harass, but he hasn't been in lane much to harass out Bignum, who has now found his level 6. So Stampede is online for Moscow 5. Is the Ravage online? It is not, but it will be fairly soon here for Hockey. We will see pings coming out here from Bignum, knowing that there is some rotation over with the information given to them by this lane ward. Echo Slam was actually used mid lane, it seems, at some point. I'm not sure that I caught that, but perhaps just to farm up a bit for Weehaw. He's almost at enough for his Blink Dagger. We'll find a few last hits under the tower here, and does a good job of that. And he will find his Blink here, and he does pick that up immediately. So 9-minute Blink for the middle lane Earthshaker, not too bad. Looks like they may aggress onto Bignum here top lane. The combo of Solitude and Padrino. We'll see Hockey rotating back towards the base. Not quite level 6 yet, unfortunately for him. Just has a Bracer Magic Stick on top of his boots. 600 gold. We'll see if he looks to build into those Arcanes before the Blink. That's probably the more likely item progression for him. TP's bottom from the Ogre Magi. And it looks like Padrino gonna have to back up in that top lane as they don't have too much information. Take a look at the dire side vision. They don't see quite a few heroes here for M5, but Weehaw gonna find out PGG. Nice haunt in here in the river towards the top rune. PGG caught looking for that rune there, and it will be Weehaw to pick up the kill. It seems here he is 1-0 now. 1-0-1. Dagger goes out onto Bignum here. Will they have a blocking fissure? No. The Stampede comes out. Nice timing there. The fissure odds are actually going to whiff, and so is the Echo Slam. Weehaw using that Blink, revealing it to no effect, and he's probably going to go down here to the double edge, and he does. So they find a return kill on a core Earthshaker for PGG dying in the river and a failed gank attempt top. He doesn't lose much knowing that he just picked up his blink here, and they did cause quite a bit of rotation. But a little bit of a misplay here from Weehaw. Misses the Fisher into the tree line, misses the Echo Slam onto screen. He may have hit the Echo Slam, and there was just living armor there to absorb that damage instance, but it looked to me as if he whiffed it. Not the biggest range here on Echo Slams, so we'll see the glyph popped quite early here from BBC. Score is 4-3, 11 minutes in, and we will see quite a bit of farm come out here from Necro. He's already got 1700 gold and his Vlads, and this should be an EG tower with PGG being able to tank this up. And the glyph is now down, will be refreshed from this. PGG actually going to find the last hit on the Treant Protector. So nice little pickup there. Soul Ring comes out for Solitude, so he will be able to spam out those ignites. Pings into the bot lane to defend here from Solitude, who is pushing this in. Padrino hasn't found much. He is second overall. Actually was just surpassed by ZXC with that Midas on the Spectre. He does have Phase, Poor Man's Earn, and Bracer, so he did go for that earn real money build, and a little bit unorthodox for him, so perhaps looking to fight early. Does have a max Desolate build, which is a hell of a lot of damage this early on. 65 damage. Needed a pause quickly. Has the 1 level in Dispersion for the little bit of tank ability there. He does also have the Poor Man's Shield, so that should be enough to pretty much stave off all the right clicks here. Stampede is at the ready here, and they will find the highest priority target in the jungle. Shackle goes out here. They're going to latch this with a Hoof Stomp, and actually they're going to back off here. Ravage is going to totally whiff from Hockey. Padrino going to go down. ZXC morphing strength after that Fire Blast. And they're going to gush out onto him. Instant buyback haunt in from Padrino. Static Storm is going to land just on screen for the moment. ZXC going to go down as well. So they do find some return kills here with the buyback of Padrino. And it will be overall a win for BBC. They actually get about 1,000 gold swing in their favor and 1,000 experience swing as well. But all the meanwhile, Necroman not involved in this, farming up his Necro book, and he's only a Belt of Giant Strength off that. So 250 gold until level 1 Necro. Of course, level 1 Necro is pretty underwhelming. Once you build that item, you're pretty much committing to book 3. And so we will wait for him to have that out, but only 13 minutes into the game. He's 6,200 net worth. A nice Fisher blink forward. He's actually going to whiff on the Enchant Totem there, and that allows Screen to survive. Glimpse back from Levi. Nice little cheeky play on the Morphling there. We'll send him to base. He's going to have to walk it out into the mid lane. But regardless, missed kill opportunity again for Weehaw has been not the greatest on this core Earthshaker so far. Hockey going to farm up some Ancients. This is going to get scouted out by the Wolves here. And they do have a full squad at the ready, smoked up with Stampede now available. And perhaps they'll look to actually farm this up as a team. And the Serpent Wards are dropped, but we will see a big rotation in from BBC. Ravage is not ready here, but the Static Storm is going to go down onto Necroman. Fire Blast is going to jump in from Weehaw. They're going to bring him down. Meanwhile, Hockey goes down to the combo of Bignum and ZXC. And in the meantime, we will see 3 go down just for the Lycan. And actually, nice return kill here from Solitude. He's going to find Dead Centaur here with the Fire Blast. So he ends up making it a 3 for 2, but the big prize here is the Ancients, and that will be taken down with the help of the Mass Serpent Wards. Padrino actually going to look to re-engage here. He's got Solitude on the backside. He's going to put a Fire Blast into screen, but the Living Growth keeps him up for now, and the Overgrowth goes into the Spectre there. Padrino going to die once again, and he's relegated to 4th overall. Glimpse back to ZXC will spell the retreat of Solitude here. The Replicant actually doing quite a bit of damage with that Desolate there from the Morphling, and that's pretty annoying into Solitude. Turns to put a right click into him with an Orb of Venom, and we'll just tank that up. And the tower here. Enchant Totem. Fish are going to land on screen from Weehaw, and the kinetic field will be there, but a waveform out from ZXC. Solitude dropping really low to the Howled Up Wolves. Will they be able to chase him down? They just might, but he'll be able to juke around, and the anchor smash will finish those off, so they should be just fine. But space created, they will find the tower. Jump in from Bignum, hoof stomp onto Weehaw, gonna find screen though, and the ether shock gonna go and glimpse back onto Bignum into the ravage onto Static Storm, gonna overlap, and ZXC not able to walk out in time. He's gonna go down as well. And nice little trade-off for M5 in the mid lane. Blink forward, Enchant Totem onto PGG. Fisher goes out as well. And the Spectral Dagger, actually from Padrino, is going to finish off PGG. 4-0 in the mid lane, going the way of Moscow 5. 3,000 experience swing, 1,600, almost 2K gold swing overall. And actually PGG just calculated at the end, so just in a little bit excess of 2K gold and 3K experience going their way. We take a look at the graphs. You can see very erratic early game. Moscow 5 with that last engagement, dragging experience to equilibrium and gold to about 1,000 lead at this point, which is about negligible. But Necroman, all the meanwhile, has not died much. He's died only the one time earlier on in the game by the Ancients. So he's still farming pretty well. Necro 1 plus 800 gold. So well on his way to his Necro 2 here. Hasn't looked at Roshan quite yet. There's only a sentry here, and it is from his own team. There is a nice observer ward if he doesn't smoke in to scout that, though. Hockey does pick up his Blink Dagger at a reasonable time, considering the start he had. 16 minutes in, they're going to find the Blink Ravage here. Ravage was very well played mid lane. Hit on at least 2, if not 3. Definitely the Centaur, definitely the Morphling. And not sure if it caught the Shadow Shaman in this tree line here, who was picked off there by Weehaw. So very nice play mid lane, a nice synergy of abilities used there from BBC, and they'll drag it back, the graphs back in their direction from that last engagement here. So ZXC farming decently well with that Midas. He's kept up with the Lycan despite having 2 deaths. Has been involved in 6 of his team's 8 kills here, so has been fairly involved out of the safe lane with the Morphling. Does pick up his Yasha, so we'll see if he looks to build into an SNY for the stats. Perhaps a Manta, perhaps just a casual Yasha for now into a Lincoln's or a Scotty, or even the E-Blade here. Don't know that Shotgun's very good versus this lineup. Spectre, Tide, and Ogre, all very tanky. Can certainly blow up the Disruptor, which would definitely help. That Static Storm has done quite a bit of work thus far. Looks like PGG's building into the mech for his team. TP's our top lane. Screen's going to find out Padrino. Shapeshift going to be used. Blink in, hoof stomp. Nice ward trap here, and they don't even need the Lycan with that Stampede to finish off Padrino. Very high priority kill here. As you can see, he's worth pretty much 400 experience apiece, going the way of that trio in the top lane. And actually PGG going to fall mid lane to the combo of Hockey and Weehaw. So he'll go down there, and it actually looks like Solitude was also involved in that one. So they find a trade here, PGG going down, but certainly worth it for Moscow 5 finding out the Spectre here. Weehaw, invisibility up. He's going to run into Necroman here. This is a huge kill if they can get it, and there's no shapeshift. He will drop the first hammer, blink forward, Enchant Totem. Still has the Echo Slam here if he needs it, but the glimpse back is going to spell doom for Necroman, so they trade once again, finding a core kill. Very big kill here for BBC, and 2,700 gold is now up on Padrino. Looks like he's looking for that relic. Will be very late for this Spectre, but will be pretty effective nonetheless when he's able to get it. But Point Booster's already up here for screen, and he's almost the lowest on net worth, so that's pretty promising here for Moscow 5. If they're able to get up that Aghanim Scepter, that physical damage that is dealt from the wards used to be piercing. Of course, that damage has been removed from the game, that damage type, and is pretty damn good both for pushing, taking Roshan, and in team fights versus this lineup of BBC. Force Staff has been picked up now by Weehaw, so mobility build from him. We'll see a jump in bottom onto Hockey, who is farming the Ancients, and they won't need much to bring him down. He will delay it a bit though. Jump in Echo Slam on 2 from Weehaw. He's going to get hit with that overgrowth and the shackle after a fire blast going to come from the high ground. A nice force up to the high ground and the fissure from Weehaw, and he'll actually be able to TP out. Glimpse back into the static storm on Bignum. He's going to fall here. PGG going to get right click down as well by the Ogre Magic. They're even going to find Screen trying to TP out in the tree line, and he'll get brought down to Solitude as well. He'll try to TP out, but Adaptive Strike will stop that. Necroman going to find 2 return kills here on the Disruptor and the Ogre Magi, and it looks like overall it's going to be a win for Moscow 5, 3 for 3. But they do find that Tide Hunter. They do feed over their Centaur, so interesting that the XP goes well in the favor of Moscow 5. And the reason for that is that Lycan came in only with ZXC late, so they actually got a big chunk of that experience, whereas it was split more so on BBC's side of things. Look at Padrino. It looks like he's finally picked up his Relic, and it's on the way on the Courier. Actually did get right-clicked here. And TPs are to the top lane. Jump forward, hoof stomp on 2 from Bignum. He's still holding that double edge, but a jump in Ravage from Hockey onto 1 target, and he's just going to disengage with the Stampede. So a little bit overzealous on that Ravage, but Enchant Totem nicely stunned, blocked out there from Necroman. He's actually still going to be able to walk out on the tree line, but a Haunt and a jump forward overgrowth going to be a little bit too late. A force forward from Weehaw. He's going to miss the Enchant Totem on Bignum here. Hockey's going to get hexed up. Ether Shock shackled. Nice Kraken Shell procs. Going to bring him out of that, and he's probably going to walk to his eventual doom. Blink forward though. Fisher on 2. Enchant Totem. Stomp onto Weehaw, but they're going to bring down 2. Bignum going to pay with his life as well. Ultra kill going the way of Padrino, and 5 down for the side of Moscow 5. Big win despite using the Ravage only on a single target. They bait out the Stampede, and a nice jump forward from Weehaw. He actually caught the Lycan with a Fissure in this general direction, and had to walk around the tree line here. Was caught in this choke. Haunt was used. Very timely manner from Padrino. And he's only a couple hundred off this Relic, or off this Radiance now, and he actually does pick it up, so he has 1,000 gold in addition to that recipe coming out here, and that's going to be big for the side of BBC, and they're going to amass a little bit of a gold lead here, generated about 3k, about 5k in the way of experience. So Necroman, despite not being too heavily evolved, has picked up his Necro 3s here, but hasn't had the greatest game on this Lycanthrope, and will finally be able to rat a bit. As you can see, they've already taken all the T1s for Moscow 5 here. BBC missing all their T1s. They've only taken 1 themselves. Of course, they're up against a Treant Protector, so they really have to commit when they push here. Bignum farming up some neutrals here. Looks like he'll be building into a pipe for his team. Very good item up against the Core Earthshaker, as well as the Ogre and the Disruptor and the Tidehunter Ravage. So Ogre finding his levels here. He's only 800 away from the Aghanim Scepter at level 12. That'll be a big pickup here. Where is Screen on his way to his Ag? He still only has the point booster. So this Ogre Magi, even ahead of Hockey and the Centaur, ahead of both offlaners. So he's been able to find his farm here, and will be pretty damn effective up against this Lycan. If they're able to lock him down in that shapeshift and kill him off, even if he has an Aegis, he becomes pretty useless in the fight thereafter. Replicate made here of Padrino. Dagger's actually going to whiff. They're going to be able to glimpse back ZXC here. Stampede is used. Nice jump in and double stomp, but the Echo Slam going to hit on 2 there. They're going to bring down Levi, but it cost them both their lives on ZXC and Bignum there, and definitely worth it for BBC. They're going to find a 1,600 experience swing in their favor, about 1,000 net worth. And TP's back are to the mid lane from he jumps forward with an Enchant Totem Strike, and with that Fissure, he's going to pick off PGG with ease. And with that Chrysalis hitting pretty hard now, see if he builds that into a Daedalus. But all the meanwhile, space created for Necroman, so still a win across the map for BBC, no doubt about it. But Necroman does find an Aegis here, and quite a bit of farm. We take a look at the hero levels here. He is right at the top of the experience chart, but followed closely by both Padrino and Weehaw here. And the safe laner who did pick up a Midas on ZXC for this Morphling is not quite where he wants to be at this point in the game, sitting at 5-4-4 on the KDA. Does have 2 ultimate orbs, 200 gold, so he's about 1,000 or about 1,275 gold away from that Scotty, still needing the Orb of Venom as well. So that'll tank him up quite a bit, and he should be able to survive anything they throw at him, aside from the Static Storm on the side of BBC. Once he gets that Scotty up, it will probably be able to morph strength through any disable or lockdown other than that Static Storm. Has Levi found any item progression? Just a point booster thus far, but that Eggs will be huge for him, especially once the BKBs start to come out for the Lycan, and maybe afterwards for that Morphling, who's definitely going to have a difficult time dealing with that upgraded Static Storm. Levi is still level 11, so he does have his level 2 ult here, which is very nice. And PGG, the only one who doesn't have a level 2 ultimate in the game, albeit it is Overgrowth, so it's more for the disable than anything, and the second level only increases the duration by 0.75 seconds. So Lycan still finding his farm pretty well. A little bit of dewarding done from Levi. He gets rid of the Cliff Ward here, as well as the ward here. Stampede used from Bignum actually just to get PGG away defensively. And Padrino will find Necroman. He's just going to TP out in his face. Smart play by Moscow 5, knowing that the Earthshaker was mid. Glimpse back used. Looks like defensively from Levi to drop someone. And they're going to finally take a tier 1 here in the face of this Treant Protector. Haunt actually used not to go bot lane. It looks like they will go towards the rune here, but Invis is found by Bignum. And they do finally find that mid lane tower. PGG in trouble here. There is the Echo Slam. Nice force forward Echo Slam by Weehaw. He'll find the kill there. 2,500 gold on him. He can pick up the Demon Edge if he chooses to do so at this point. Courier does pick up just a Vit booster for Padrino. And in the meantime, Solitude going to get picked off to the trio, or to the duo of ZXC and Bignum in the bottom lane here. But they are being flanked by Levi, who does have a Glimpse as well as a Static Storm. He will get in range for this Glimpse. He does. And Replicate out is a little bit early from ZXC. He actually used that. Kinetic Field's going to latch on him. He doesn't have this waveform here, but he's going to be able to morph strength. And he still doesn't have mana for this, so they will elect to chase this with Weehaw. Fish are going to go out. It's going to be on the wrong side of him, actually. And that's going to sound the retreat for BBC here. So ZXC does make it away, does finally pick up his Scotty now, so he's a little bit more tanky. And the BKB comes out here for the Lycanthrope for Necroman. So he's looking pretty good. 13,000 net worth, barely above the Spectre now, who is able to flash farm with that Radiance up. Accelerates his farm quite a bit. He also does have is there a Glimpse here? It is back into the kinetic field. Hold that thought. Living armor gonna delay the inevitable here. Will they be willing to chase screen uphill? They are not. Little do they know, they certainly could have. But getting back to that point, Spectre gonna farm very well and does now have the Heart of Tarask up as well. So very, very tanky. Perhaps maybe some armor items would have been pretty good for his team here up against the Lycan, but up against the Morphling's Toolkit as well as the Centaur and the Shadow Shaman, raw health is very good for this Spectre here, as well as the HP regen. And we will see Ogre Axe, or Ogre Club, sorry, picked up here by Levi. So he's 2k away from that Aghanims. I believe Solitude has found his Aghanims. He has by now. And PGG is using the Nature's Guys here. They will back up. He does have the Overgrowth. He's going to pop it here on 2. Hockey's ready with a Blink Ravage, though. And Stampede's going to be a little bit too early. Nothing going to be found here. Padrino actually haunts in very deep. And he's going to pay with his life for this. But a Blink Forward Echo Slam. Is there a Ravage here from Hockey? He actually doesn't have enough mana. Necroman caught in the Static Storm, but there's no kinetic field to follow it up. The Replicate actually going to bring down Levi with the Morphling. They're going to find Hockey as well. Little bit of a misplay from Hockey. Doesn't have enough, doesn't save enough mana from that Ravage. And it will be 3 for 3 in the bot lane. So Weehaw salvaging the team fight for BBC here. But regardless, there will be a win for M5. Roshan is not up for at least almost 3 minutes at this point. Daedalus finally picked up for Weehaw here. Very nice item progression for him. He's maintained his farm despite being an Earthshaker and having not quite the capability to farm that this Morphling does for ZXC. especially with the Midas. ZXC sitting on 2,200 gold, but we have been farming heroes 10, 2, and 14 on this Earthshaker. It's got to be the best KDA in the game. 10, 4, and 15 actually for Padrino's Spectre, so he's been using that Haunt to great effect throughout this game. And after that engagement, we will see Hockey pick up his Arcane Boots there. A Ravage definitely turns the fight in BBC's favor and perhaps garners them a team wipe there. But unfortunately for him, he was a little bit low on mana. PGG rotating through the enemy jungle pretty riskily. He's going to drop a ward here under the effects of Nature's Guise, and they actually do scout him out. So it seems. Actually, blink forward from Bignum. They're going to find Levi. Static Storm dropped. I'm not sure exactly why. Jump forward from Weehaw, though. He's going to finish off the Centaur and actually force to the high ground. Very nice, clean pick from him. So worth the Static Storm. Definitely. Solitude not going to be able to TP out in the face of Necroman. He's going to go down. So 2 for 1 across the map for the way of Moscow. I blink and Echo Slam on 3 though. ZXC getting low. Ravage going to connect as well, but Weehaw's going to go down. Can ZXC replicate out? No, he's Morphing Strike. He waveforms back, and he'll be just fine. Padrino's going to be hexed up by the Shadow Shaman. He's shackled within ward range, and he's going to be able to walk out into the tree line here. Radiance Burn not going to be able to net him a kill. PGG getting pretty low though. And Necroman does know where he is. He's actually ticking down himself to his own Radiance from the Replicate. And ZXC just a little bit too late. Nice TP out there from Padrino. Take a look at the fight recap. Shows a 1 for 1 here. It was actually a 2 for 2. The Centaur dying a little earlier though. And so did the Disruptor. So make it a 3 for 2 for Moscow 5. Necroman going to pop the Shapeshift, farm up some of these Ancients that they left for their Tidehunter, or perhaps for the Spectre at this point, more likely. 3,500 gold is up here for ZXC. We'll look to see if he goes that shotgun build. Already having the Scotty does make it a little more effective with the extra stats. He can morph well over 150 agility at this point, so... Padrino farming up the jungle. He's finally picked up a Yasha with the nerfs to the move speed of Spectre. Has pretty much become a core item. Roshan is up in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Meanwhile, Solitude's going to find ZXC and get a nice couple of multicasts off, but he won't have the kill potential. He'll just have to back off without any help from his teammates here. AC now picked up for Necroman. Very nice pickup for him. Albeit Desolate is pure damage, so AC not going to help with that, but it does help certainly against the Earthshaker and his right clicks for the whole team, and also helps with their right clicks with the negative armor aura applied by the AC. So very nice pickup here, a very standard pickup for Necroman on the Lycan. BKB does come out as I expected earlier for ZXC. So this Static Storm upgrade is pretty crucial for BBC's ability to stay in this game. 1,600 gold is the deficit here for Levi from picking that up. And it looks like he will be able to grab that eventually here. Padrino, nothing much since his Yasha. They did pick up a gem here on Solitude, so... looking to establish a little bit of map control. They haven't seen this ward, however, because it is on the high ground. And a little bit of scouting happening from Necroman through the jungle. So they know there's perhaps a smoke rotation going on because no one is in the jungle. But actually just most of BBC postured up by their secret shop. Force Staff has been picked up here from Hockey. And he'll be able to probably get that Ravage off with the extra intelligence from that, as well as his Arcane Boots. And he does have a little bit more mobility now. Of course, 1,800 gold sitting over on Weehaw. I'm not sure what he'll look to pick up at this point. Still is maintaining his stance on the net worth chart here pretty well. So it has been an overall very well played game by him. Early on was a little bit ineffective, but did translate pretty well here. Bignum going to jump forward onto Padrino, however, and with the right clicks, he's going to try and haunt out to the other side of the map and get away. Actually, nice juke, earns up, but not going to be enough to get away from the 650 MS Necroman, who's actually just going to TP out in the face of Weehaw, Levi, and Solitude, and they'll get a nice clean pick on Padrino and not get greedy about it. So very well played by both him and Bignum. Bignum able to TP out as well. Does have the pipe at the ready for his team. We do have 56 seconds on the sidelines here for Padrino. We'll take a look at the graphs at this point. Gold pretty much dead even, as is experience, and it does look sort of like a very even game. You gotta favor Moscow 5 a bit though, having the Morphling Spectre cores over the having the Morphling Lycan cores over the Spectre Earthshaker cores in the mid and the safe lane. So what's the build here for ZXC? Did pick up the BKB. He does have 1700 gold now, so perhaps he looks to go into a B-fly. Perhaps he looks to go into a shotgun at this point. I think the shotgun is nice to blow up this Disruptor, who is now only 1,000 gold away from that Aghanims. That'll be a very big pickup here around 40 minutes into the game. ZXC actually caught out in the bot lane. He doesn't have a replicate ready, and they're going to chain their abilities very nicely. He'll get finished off with the Echo Slam from Weehaw, who's now got 3,500 gold and did just buy something on the courier here. We'll see what that is going to be. It looks like he'll build into the AC for his team, so he's going to hit even harder. The arms race is real. AC going to be picked up for both sides. A replicate is here. Is that owned? No, it's not. It's actually just an illusion. So I thought that might have been a replicate. No timer on it. And it looks like they are pinging this out, however, knowing that ZXC did drop in the bot lane. And Padrino is there. They're not defending this top lane. Levi actually was the only one defending it, who does go down to Necromon. He's going to find a tower here, but Aegis will go the way of Padrino, so I think they're okay with that trade. Actually, Aegis goes on the ground, and it will get picked up by the Spectre here. So Padrino does find that. Wolves and the Necro units actually doing a decent amount of work on this tier 3 here. And Necro going to back them off so as not to feed over the gold bounty to his enemies. So nicely played by him. He finds a solo pick and the tier 2 in the top lane. Rat is definitely real with this level 3 Necro book, level 4 Howl and Wolves. And this Lycan's already level 25. He's 4 levels ahead of the core Spectre. So certainly has found his farm and experience here. AC does now come out for Weehaw, but 5k gold up on Necroman. We'll see what he elects to build next. Perhaps the Basher into the Abyssal would be the most logical pickup here. He's able to chop down the Disruptor in a couple hits. If he gets an Abyssal on any priority target, such as Weehaw or Padrino or Hockey, he'll probably be able to bring that down in the duration solo. Never mind with the help from his team here. He's trying to rat out this tower in the bot lane, which is going to be denied here from Levi, presumably. And it looks like we do have PGG trying to grab this last hit. However, is he able to do it? He does, but he'll pay with his life. So cheeky little play from PGG. Walks up with the Nature's Guys, finds the last hit on the tower. Does feed his life and quite a bit of experience over, however. 1,300 experience, about 450 in the way of the 3 heroes involved. But regardless, nice play by Padrino to give his entire team some gold there. So that is something not shown on that fight recap. Excuse me, sorry about that, guys. 38 minutes in, we see a deep lane ward here for the side of BBC. They still haven't taken down this tier 1 versus PGG's Treant Protector, so odd to see this ward up here this late into the game. Double damage rune is bottom GG rune available there. Aegis still up for Padrino for quite a while now. He's still got 2.5, just over 2.5, 2 minutes 45 seconds roughly left before that Aegis expires. It doesn't seem like they're too willing to use it yet, though. Haven't seen much of this Ravage do work in this game, guys. And we will see a plate mail pickup here, so it looks like the Shivas will be the choice here for the Tidehunter. We'll see if he sells that Bracer and picks up the Mystic Staff. He elects not to, so perhaps saving for buyback at this point. Manta Style does come out now, finally, for Padrino, so maybe this is the cue with 2 minutes left on the Aegis for them to go fight. You see PGG circling that the enemy must be in this area, as they were not defending mid lane or top lane for the time being. We do see some pings come out from both teams here. Looks like BBC may be ready to get aggressive on this tier 1 bottom in the very least, and both teams pinging out each other's position here. Force Staff from Hockey's gonna miss the high ground, and all these melee heroes having a little bit of trouble with the D ward here. So Kinetic Field is down as well. Hockey actually blinks up away from the high ground because they're being aggressed on in the top lane. And PGG actually probably just looking to defend this bottom. Not worth taking some damage in their tier 3 here. Glyph actually baited out just by the use of the Mass Serpent Wards here. And does Screen have the Aghanims upgrade? Not even close at this point. He did go back for the Blink Dagger. So Solitude will clean up these wards for a nice little bounty for him along with Hockey. And they will find the tier 1 in the bottom lane. That was picked up by Padrino with the last hit, and they are looking to aggress here. However, they don't have their Tidehunter Ravage, so this could be a little bit overzealous from BBC, and Padrino thinks better of it. He's going to back off 1,200 gold on him. He's got to get rid of that urn sometime soon. The Heart will be out any moment now here for Necroman. He's also got 2,700 gold to his name. Needs to pick up that Vit booster, so he'll still have quite a bit. In the bot lane, however, PGG is going to catch them out with an Overgrowth, it seems. Yeah, he did just use that. And the Static Storm going to be whiffed here from Levi, so perhaps they look to engage off this for the side of... but he's going to be scouted out with a gem here, and PGG gets dropped real quick to Weehaw. Solitude walking in with that gem. Invisibility 40 minutes in the game. Certainly not immortality by any stretch. Meanwhile, though, top lane being ratted by ZXC. He finds the tier 3, and he'll find the range racks as well. He's just going to BKB TP out. So nice play by him to pick that up there. And BBC not going to get anything but a kill on a Treant Protector for it. So excellent play by him. Certainly a good use of that 10-second BKB charge. He still has 9 seconds up. Bignum actually picks up his BKB as well now, so that's 10 seconds. The Lycan's BKB probably around 8. It's actually 7 seconds at this point, so they will look to take this tier 2 bot for BBC, but they don't have their full squad here. And Hockey is visible in the mid lane, so they're going to have to back off. Bignum actually looking for something. He's actually just going to TP down, or blink down, I should say, to the low ground here. Vlad's is now picked up for Solitude. That's a pretty good item for his team, but the Heart does come out finally for Necroman, and he's got 2,700 gold in addition to that. So pretty scary looking on this Lycan. They may find him out, though. They do have that lane ward. Oh, the kinetic field barely whiffs. The Fisher's a little bit too late. And they use the Static Storm there. He's going to get glimpsed back, however. The BKB was popped, and he's just going to look to right-click into Weehaw here. I'm going to follow Necroman here. He gets ravaged up. Ravage also going to hit on ZXC. Necroman going to go down soon with this shapeshift, but he looks to turn into Padrino. The Desolate doing a lot of work, and the Refined Fire Blast going to finish him off. However, Hex shackle up on Padrino. He's going to drop here to ZXC. Will Weehaw be able to finish him off? He does with one last right click. Hoof stomp on one from Bignum. Still fighting underneath the wards are the BBC boys here, but with the Bloodlust, they'll clean that up pretty quickly. 3 for 2 going their way here, and they will find PGG as well with this gem. He's got to realize that they do have detection at this point. And they will find a 4 for 2 in the bot lane going the way of BBC. That's pretty much a 5k, almost 5k experience swing, 3k net worth swing in their favor. They do lose Padrino's Spectre, but they get the Lycan regardless, and Bignum Centaur the only one to survive. He's just going to look to push out this mid lane and perhaps take this tier 2 here, which is very likely that to happen. There is a TP though here from Weehaw, and he will find the last hit on that tower, but he can be glimpsed back here, and there's a nice Fisher overlap with the Enchant Totem Strike, critting for 1,400, and then following it up with 1,000 crit directly after that. Weehaw hitting pretty hard here. He's got 5k gold, so can look to build into perhaps an Aghanim Scepter, perhaps looking to hit even harder than he already is. And the Ag's not the best with all the BKBs up. Did Bignum use his first BKB charge there? He did, so that was revealed. And BBC well aware that there are 3 BKBs on the side of Moscow 5, so will be interesting to see what Weehaw picks up here. Has the Shivas come out for Hockey? It has, so they do have that for the team. Looks like he'll be building into a Butterfly on the Spectre for Padrino with that Talisman of Evasion. And perhaps we see a Rapier pickup for the Earthshaker here. Perhaps we see a BKB. That wouldn't be a bad pickup either. Would allow him to stay into the fights longer. He does have the AC already, so pretty good pickup there. He could even pick up a Deso to help with the push, which his team does lack. Nice long-range Fisher into the Ignite here. Blink forward from Weehaw. He's going to Force forward as well. And the kinetic field from Levi, nicely placed, does latch on PGG. And they will take him out. Looks like a disconnect happens from Hockey. And he had a crash, so he'll need to join back up. Ghost Scepter was picked up on Levi, and he does now have that Aghanim Scepter. So very, very nice ability here. It is a mute, as well as it goes through pierces. I guess it doesn't pierce magical immunity anymore, so they changed that in the last patch. Noob caster, flame please more. And we will see a little bit of a pause here. And so hopefully Hockey will come back. Anything else in the way of item progression? Screen still very far off that Aghanim Scepter of his own. He only has 1,000 gold, so he's still 2k away from that. Solitude's picked up a Ghost Scepter as well, so these supports can't be chopped down very quickly by the Lycan. So very smart itemization here from BBC. They look pretty good at this point. Butterfly going to come out soon. As ZXC did finish off that Sanjin Yasha with that earlier Yasha that he picked up. Should have quite a bit of gold on top of that. He does have 5k at this point, so he can look to go for the shotgun to blow up these heroes who already have Ghost Scepters, so that will already increase the damage of the Ethereal Blade Blast and then his Adaptive Strike, of course. So it wouldn't be a bad pickup here. There are actually no BKBs on the side of BBC, so shotgun can go on to any target here. PGG looks to be building into a BKB, perhaps. Does have the mech, had it a while ago. He may just actually build a halberd. Looks like we will see a halberd with the Ogre Club and the Belt of Giant Strength there. And nothing much else in the way of item progression. Taking a look at the graphs, we do see more or less equilibrium in terms of net worth. Big experience lead for BBC, surprising enough. I guess the Lycan did cap off, who was pretty much the only person keeping his team in the experience lead. But as you see, the 4 cores, if you include Solitude for BBC, are all in levels 19 and above, whereas you have Bignum at 17, Screen at 15, and PGG lowest by far at 13. Spectre's still pretty fat for being 4th overall on the net worth chart. So Padrino is definitely relevant, definitely not as fat as he could be, even below ZXC. So that Midas definitely paying off 45 minutes into the game. With 5k gold on him, so we'll see what he looks to build. 2,700 gold for Necroman here. We'll see if he finally goes into that Basher for that Abyssal Blade. I feel like he really does need that lockdown. Very unorthodox, but Diffusal might not even be bad here with all the Ghost Scepters that have come out for BBC. The Purge is nice despite him having great move speed. The Mana Break is certainly good, adds to his right click, and it can allow him to chop down those supports despite them having the Ghost Scepters. Looks like Hockey's reconnected here, guys. So hopefully we are able to get back into the game. And looks like he is ready, and we can all get back to some Dota here. This is GG League Season 2, Game 2 of a best of 3 series. BBC did take Game 1, and this game's a lot closer than the kill score indicates, guys. 12k experience lead, but gold about even at this point. And Morphling Lycan Centaur Core versus a Tide Spectre Earthshaker Tricore. So definitely still a large chance here for M5. They are in no ways or shape or form out of the game. They do have this range racks and T3 eliminated top, so exposed melee racks here. And they were the first ones to break base with a little bit of rat from ZXC. Haunt at the ready here for Padrino. The other 4 members of BBC are rotating through the jungle. Looks like Padrino's actually going to walk down and join them. Levi probably going to drop this ward on the cliff here, and that'll give them some immediate information as to the location of Screen here. And that'll be a nice ward, as well as this pretty aggressive deep ward. They do still have the gem, I believe. Yep, it is on Levi, so they do still have the gem on the side of BBC. They're actually going to run into everyone mid lane here. Let's watch Weehaw here. Focus. He's going to jump forward. He's going to get a Static Storm out on Bignum. Fire Blast going to go in. He's going to drop early. Ravage goes out onto 2. Padrino still surviving here. In the meantime, Necroman's chopping down Weehaw, but he forces to the high ground. And ZXC getting fire blasted up here. Nice Ignite Fire Strike. Echo Slam onto Fisher as well. Necroman's BKB is down. He's going to drop here as well. One last right click from Weehaw. Triple kill for the Earthshaker. And 5 for 1. Hockey the only one going down. He got his Ravage off. 11,000 experience. GG is called from M5. Very well played by Weehaw that game, and it's certainly what his fans expect from him on the core Earthshaker. So they beat M5 with a Broodmother pick in game 1. They beat them with a core middle Earthshaker in game 2. BBC looking very strong here in the round of 16 GG League Season 2. This is HeflaTV, guys. I am Maurice Pease, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. Thank you so much for joining me. Follow us over on Facebook and Twitter at HeflaTV and at youtube.com/HeflaMoke. You can follow me on Twitter at MRP_Dota, and the same on Twitch. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. We will have some games a little bit further today, I believe in JDL Europe Division, but for now we saw some real good Dota. Another 2-0 here, and we will see Balkan Bears Corleone once again facing off against the winner of Northern Lions versus Cormanda, and they will be facing one another tomorrow at 16 CEST. So for you, those of you on the East Coast like myself, that'll be 10 a.m. for us. Also, a little bit later today, we will see some more of BBC. So perhaps we'll see some cheeky drafts from them. Definitely saw some very calculated, very good play from all of their players in both of these games here. Can't really say there were any big misplays from Moscow 5. Just very well-oiled machine here from BBC. So all the power to them, and wish them the best of luck throughout the tournament. Be sure to continue to join us here, guys, on HeflaTV for all your GG League Season 2 coverage. And thank you once again for joining me. We'll be back a little bit later today at 18 CEST. So that is in an hour and a half from now for the JDL. But for now, thanks again for joining us, guys. And this is More Rage Please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, signing out.
Just turn the fuck up.